Various options of networking for business. As a business grows, so does its equipment. The more computers and devices a company has, the more spread out the programs and information become. Unless you have your own computers networked together. Computer networking is a group of computers that are configured together while not necessarily in the same physical location. When your computers are connected, the transmitted data between the computers make for more seamless communications and operations across the company. It is also cost effective as it allows computers to share hardware and software licenses, cutting back on those company expenses. Benefits of computer networking in business. Record sharing takes into account further developed correspondence on a strong organization. Consistency across individual PCs with a focal information base makes firm working frameworks. The advantages for businesses are bigger capacity limit, compelling correspondence, adaptability, and getting a good deal on the expenses of programming. Large storage capacity. With computer networking, your critical files are all part of central file servers. Your employees can access these files and learn from the data for improved business operations. A central server lowers the number of storage systems you need for the company's data. You gain storage space with an increase in employee productivity with access to files. Improved business communication. Information is the basis of communication. Modern networking allows the transfer of information in real-time network anywhere with internet access. When your team has access to network files from any device, you have more flexibility with remote workers and employees that need to work outside of the office. The more information available to employees, the more independently they can work. Downtime is a revenue killer. Network access to employees creates the company growth needed to reach long-term business goals. If you have any issue with one device, you can access your information when you log into another device. This creates network security where you don't have to worry about losing critical files. Flexibility and convenience. Admittance to data through the organization eliminates steps that workers take to get the data they need for their day-by-day assignments, or also known as business as usual. At the point when PCs aren't associated, you need to move towards through a USB drive or messages. With PC sharing, workers can take records from some other associated PC as though it were all alone. This rates up everyday undertakings of your representatives and makes an exceptionally practical work process. Cost benefits of computer networking. A quality PC network considers asset sharing across gadgets. You will require less equipment when your PCs are associated, and equipment is expensive gear. Workers will not require separate printers or reinforcement stockpiling when their PCs are associated. You will not have to introduce a numerous product updates, and representatives can share archive checking programming. The capacity to divide innovation resources between workers is one of the greatest money saving advantage of this system administration arrangement. Networked version of software. Purchasing programming of each PC and gadget is not the most financially savvy way of getting your workers the apparatuses they need. Numerous product organizations offer adaptations of their product that were made for networks. This way, you can buy a solitary permit for the item you need. You would then be able to make them run on the local server that the singular PCs are associated with. This stops hauling around a USB drive and exchanging it with the following worker that needs the permit. At the point when you have a group of individuals with admittance to the instruments they need, you have an effective group of self-starters. Improved customer service. At the point when your workers approach organization, they are better ready to serve clients and customers. They can pull up all the data they need on the client and give replies to their inquiries rapidly. They can likewise add data about the client into the framework with the goal that different workers can be refreshed continuously. Various medium of communication. The manner by which information is communicated, starting with one gadget, then onto the next gadget, is known as transmission mode. The transmission mode is otherwise called the correspondence mode. Each correspondence channel has a course connected with it, and transmission media gives the pairing. Subsequently, the transmission mode is otherwise called a directional mode. The transmission mode is characterized in the actual layer. The transmission mode is divided into three categories: simplex mode, half duplex mode, full duplex mode, as you can see on the diagram towards the left side. Simplex mode. In simplex mode, the correspondence is unidirectional, that is, the information stream is one way. A gadget can just send the information but cannot get it, or it can get the information but cannot send it. This transmission mode is not extremely famous as predominantly interchanges require the two-way trade of information. The simplex mode is utilized in the business field as in deals that don't need any comparing answer. The radio broadcast is a simplex channel as it communicates the sign to the audience members, however, never permits them to send back. Keyboard and monitor are the instances of the simplex mode, as a console can just acknowledge the information from the client, and screen must be utilized to show the information on the screen. The fundamental benefit of the simplex mode is that the full limit of the correspondence channel can be used during transmission. Advantage of simplex mode. In simplex mode, the station can utilize the entire bandwidth of the communication channel so that more data can be transmitted at a time. Disadvantage of simplex mode. Communication is unidirectional, so it has no intercommunication between devices. Half duplex mode. In a half duplex channel, direction can be reversed, that is, the station can transmit and receive the data as well. Messages flow in both the directions, but not at the same time. The entire bandwidth of the communication channel is utilized in one direction at a time. In half duplex mode, it is possible to perform the error detection, and if any error occurs, then the receiver requests the sender to retransmit the data. A walkie-talkie is an example of the half duplex mode. In walkie-talkie, one party speaks and the other party listens. After a pause, the other party speaks and the first party listens. Speaking simultaneously will create the distorted sound which cannot be understood. Advantage of half duplex mode. In half duplex mode, both the devices can send and receive the data and also can utilize the entire bandwidth of the communication channel during the transmission of data. Disadvantage of half duplex mode. In half duplex mode, when one device is sending the data, then another has to wait. This causes the delay in sending the data at the right time. Full duplex mode. In full duplex mode, the communication is bidirectional, that is, the direction of data flow is in both ways. Both the stations can send and receive the messages simultaneously. Full duplex mode has two simplex channels. One channel has traffic moving in one direction and another channel has traffic flowing in the opposite direction. The full duplex mode is the fastest mode of communication between devices. The most common example of the full duplex mode is a telephone network. When two people are communicating with each other by a telephone line, both can talk and listen at the same time. Advantage of full duplex mode. Both the stations can send and receive the data at the same time. Disadvantage of full duplex mode. If there is no dedicated path which exists between the devices, then the capacity of the communication channel is divided in two parts. We come to now physical and cable-less transmission media. Transmission media is a correspondence channel that conveys the data from the sender to a collector. Information is communicated through the electromagnetic signs. The principal usefulness of the transmission media is to convey the data as pieces through LAN or local area network. It is an actual way among transmitter and recipient in information correspondence. In a copper-based organization, the pieces are as electrical signs. In a fiber-based organizations, the pieces are light heartbeats. In OSI, that is Open System Interconnection stage, transmission media holds the layer 1. Along these lines, it is viewed as layer 1 part. The electrical signs can be sent through a copper wire, fiber optic, climate, water, and vacuum. The attributes and nature of information transmission are dictated by the qualities of medium and sign. Transmission media is of two sorts and wired, which are wired media and remote media. In wired media, medium attributes are more significant, while in remote media, signal qualities are more significant. Different transmission media have various properties like data transfer capacity, deferral, cost, and simplicity of establishment and upkeep. The transmission media is accessible in the least layer of the OSI reference, that is physical layer. Some factors need to be considered for designing the transmission media. The first one is bandwidth. All the components are staying consistent. The more noteworthy the transfer speed of a medium, the higher the information transmission pace of a sign. Transmission weakness. When the got signal isn't distinguishable from the sent one, because of the transmission hindrance, the nature of the signs will get annihilated because of transmission hindrance. Interference. An impedance is characterized as the method involved with upsetting a sign when it goes over a correspondence medium on the expansion of some undesirable sign. Causes of transmission impairment. Attenuation. Attenuation implies the deficiency of energy, that is the strength of the sign reductions with expanding the distance, which causes the deficiency of energy. Distortion. Distortion happens when there is an adjustment of the state of the sign. This kind of twisting is inspected from various signs having various frequencies. Every recurrence part has its own engadering speed, so they reach at an alternate time, which prompts the differ twisting. Noise. When information is gone over a transmission medium, some undesirable sign is added to it, which makes it clamor. Classification of transmission media. Look at the diagram carefully because we will be going into details of the entire diagram. We will be starting with the guided media. Guided media. It is defined as the physical medium through which the signals are transmitted. It is also known as bounded media. Types of guided media. The first type is a twisted pair. Twisted pair is a physical media made up of a pair of cables twisted with each other. A twisted pair cable is cheap as compared to other transmission media. Installation of the twisted pair cable is easy and it is lightweight cable. The frequency range for a twisted pair cable is 0 to 3.5 kHz. A twisted pair consists of two insulated copper wires arranged in a regular spiral pattern. The degree of reduction in noise interference is determined by the number of turns per foot. Increasing the number of turns per foot decreases noise interference. Unshielded twisted pair. An unshielded twisted pair is widely used in telecommunication, following other categories of the unshielded twisted pair cable. Category 1. Category 1 is used for telephone lines that have low speed data. Category 2. It can support up to 4 Mbps. Category 3 can support up to 16 Mbps. Category 4 can support up to 20 Mbps, therefore it can be used for long distance communication. Category 5 can support up to 200 Mbps. Advantages of unshielded twisted pair. It is cheap. Installation of the unshielded twisted pair is easy. It can be used for high speed LAN. Disadvantage. This cable can only be used for shorter distances because of attenuation. Shielded twisted pair. A shielded twisted pair is a cable that contains the mesh surrounding the wire that allows the higher transmission rate. Characteristics of shielded twisted pair. The cost of the shielded twisted pair cable is not very high and not very low. An installation of shielded twisted pair or STP is easy. It has higher capacity as compared to unshielded twisted pair. It has higher attenuation. It is shielded that provides the higher data transmission rate. Disadvantages. It is more expensive as compared to unshielded twisted pair or UTP and coaxial cable. It has higher attenuation rate. Coaxial cable. Coaxial link is ordinarily utilized transmission media. For instance, TV wire is typically a coaxial link. The name of the link is coaxial as it contains two conductors corresponding to one another. It has higher recurrence when contrasted with twisted pair link. The internal conveyor of the coaxial link is comprised of copper and the external transmitter is comprised of copper network. The center is comprised of non-conductive cover that isolates the internal conductor from the external conductor. The center is answerable for the information moving while the copper network keeps from the EMI, which is electromagnetic impedance. Coaxial cable is of two types: baseband transmission and broadband transmission. Baseband transmission is defined as the process of transmitting a single signal at high speed. Broadband transmission is defined as the process of transmitting multiple signals simultaneously. Advantages of coaxial cable. The data can be transmitted at high speed. It has better shielding as compared to twisted pair cable. It provides higher bandwidth. Disadvantages of coaxial cable. It is more expensive as compared to twisted pair cable. If any fault occurs in the cable, causes the failure in entire network. Fiber optic. Fiber optic link is a link that utilizes electrical signs for correspondence. Fiber optic is a link that holds the optical strands covered in plastic that are utilized to send the information by beads of light. The plastic covering shields the optical strands from heat, chills, electromagnetic impedance from different sorts of wiring. Fiber optics give quicker information transmission than copper wires. Basic elements of fiber optic cable. Core. A center is a light transmission space of the fiber. Deeply, the more light will be sent into the fiber. Cladding. The concentric layer of glass is known as cladding. The principal usefulness of the cladding is to give the lower refractive file at the center interface as to cause the reflection inside the center with the goal that the light waves are sent through the fiber. Jacket. The defensive covering comprising of plastic is known as a coat. The fundamental reason for a coat is to safeguard the fiber strength, retain shock, and additional fiber security. Advantages of fiber optic cable over copper. Greater bandwidth. The fiber optic link gives more data transmission as analyzed copper. Consequently, the fiber optic conveys more information when contrasted with copper link. Faster speed. Fiber optic link conveys the information as light. This permits the fiber optic link to convey the signs at higher speed. Longer distances. The fiber optic link conveys the information at a more drawn out distance when contrasted with copper link. Better dependability. The fiber optic link is more solid than the copper link as it is safe to any temperature changes while it can cause hinder in the availability of copper link. Thinner and sturdier. Fiber optic link is more slender and lighter in weight so it can withstand more draw strain than copper link. We now come to unguided transmission. An unguided transmission sends the electromagnetic waves without utilizing any actual medium. Along these lines, it is otherwise called remote transmission. In unguided media, air is the media through which the electromagnetic energy can stream without any problem. unguided transmission is comprehensively arranged into three classifications. First classification is radio waves. Radio waves are the electromagnetic waves that are sent in every one of the headings of free space. Radio waves are omnidirectional, that is, the signs are spread in every one of the headings. The range in frequencies of radio waves is from 3 kHz to 1 kHz. In the instance of radio waves, the sending and getting receiving wire are not adjusted. That is, the wave sent by the sending radio wire can be gotten by any getting receiving wire. An illustration of the radio wave is FM radio. Applications of radio waves. A radio wave is useful for multicasting when there is one sender and many receivers. An FM radio, television, cordless phones are examples of radio wave. Advantages of radio transmission. Radio transmission is mainly used for wide area networks and mobile cellular phones. Radio waves cover a larger area and they can penetrate the walls. Radio transmission provides a higher transmission rate. The next unguided transmission is microwaves. Characteristics of microwave. Frequency range. The frequency range of a microwave or a terrestrial microwave is from 4 to 6 GHz to 21 to 23 GHz. We will come to something known as terrestrial microwave in the next slide. See, a terrestrial microwave transmission is an innovation that sends the engaged light emission radio sign from one ground-based microwave transmission receiving wire to another. Microwaves are the electronic waves having the recurrence in reach from 1 GHz to 1000 GHz. Microwaves are unidirectional as the sending and getting receiving wire is to be adjusted. That is, the waves sent by sending radio wire are barely engaged. In this case, receiving wires are mounted on the pinnacles to send a pillar to another radio wire which is kilometers away. It deals with the view transmission, that is, the radio wires mounted on the pinnacles are the immediate sight of one another. Coming again to characteristics of microwave. It supports the bandwidth from 1 to 10 Mbps. It is inexpensive for shorter distance. It is expensive as it requires higher tower for a longer distance. Attenuation is the loss of signal. It is affected by environmental conditions and antenna size. We now come to satellite waves. A satellite is an actual item that spins around the Earth at a known tallness. Satellite correspondence is more solid these days as it offers more adaptability than link and fiber optic frameworks. We can speak with any point on the globe by utilizing satellite correspondence. Well, how does the satellite work? The satellite accepts the signal that is transmitted from the Earth station and it amplifies the signal. The amplified signal is retransmitted to another Earth station. Advantages of satellite microwave communication. The inclusion space of a satellite microwave is more than the Earth-bound microwave. The transmission cost of the satellite is free of the separation from the focal point of the inclusion region. Satellite correspondence is utilized in versatile and remote correspondence applications. It is not difficult to introduce. It is utilized in a wide assortment of utilizations like climate gauging, radio or TV signal telecom, portable correspondence, and so forth. Disadvantages of satellite microwave communication. Satellite planning and advancement requires additional time and greater expense. The satellite should be checked and controlled on normal periods so it stays in circle. The life of the satellite is around 12 to 15 years. Because of this explanation, one more dispatch of the satellite must be arranged before it becomes non-utilitarian. We now come to another unguided transmission, which is known as infrared. An infrared transmission is a remote innovation utilized for correspondence over short ranges. The recurrence of the infrared in the range from 300 GHz to 400 terahertz. It is utilized for short range correspondence. For example, information move between two PDAs or personal digital assistants, television or TV far off activity. Information move between a PC and mobile phone lives in a similar shut region. Characteristics of infrared. It upholds high transmission capacity and subsequently the information rate will be extremely high. Infrared waves cannot infiltrate the dividers. In this way, the infrared correspondence in one room cannot be hindered by the close by rooms. An infrared correspondence gives better security, least impedance. Infrared correspondence is problematic external the structure in light of the fact that the sun beams will meddle with the infrared waves. We now come to something known as Internet technology. Web is a worldwide organization that interfaces billions of PCs across the world with one another and to the World Wide Web. It utilizes Standard Web Convention Suite, which is TCP/IP, also known as Transmission Control Protocol or Internet Protocol, to interface billions of PC clients around the world. It is set up by utilizing links like optical strands and other remote and systems administration innovations. As of now, web is the quickest mean of sending or trading data and information between PCs across the world. It is believed that the internet was developed by DARPA, DARPA, or Defense Advanced Projects Agency's Department of the United States, and it was first connected in 1969. How does the internet work? Web is known as an organization as it makes an organization by associating PCs and servers across the world utilizing switches and phone lines and other specialized gadgets and channels. Along these lines, it tends to be viewed as a whole worldwide organization of actual links, for example, copper phone wires, fiber optic links, television links, and so forth. Moreover, even remote associations like 3G, 4G, or Wi-Fi utilize these links to get to the internet. Web is not same as the World Wide Web, as the World Wide Web is an organization of PCs and servers made by associating them through the web. Thus, the web is the foundation of the web as it gives the specialized framework to build up the www and goes about as a medium to send data starting with one PC, then on to the next PC. It utilizes internet browsers to show the data on the customer, which it brings from web servers. The web is not claimed by a solitary individual or association completely. It is actually an idea dependent on actual framework that associates networks with different organizations to make a worldwide organization of billions of PCs. Starting at 12th August 2016, there were in excess of 300 crores of web clients across the world. The web works with the assistance of customers and servers. A gadget like PC, which is associated with the web, is known as a customer, not a server, as it isn't straightforwardly associated with the web. Notwithstanding, it is in a roundabout way associated with the web through the ISP, or also known as Internet Service Provider, and is distinguished by an IP address, which is actually a series of numbers. Very much like you have a location for your home that particularly distinguishes your home, an IP address goes about as the delivery address of your gadget. The IP address is given by your ISP, and you can perceive what IP address your ISP has given to your framework. A server is a huge PC that stores sites. In addition, it has an IP address. Where countless servers are put away is known as a server farm. The server acknowledges demands sent by the customer through a program over an organization, which is web, and reacts appropriately. Advantages of the internet. Instant messaging. You can send messages or impart to anybody utilizing web like email, voice talk, video conferencing, and so forth. Get bearings. Using GPS innovation, you can get headings to pretty much every spot in a city, country, and so on. You can discover cafes, shopping centers, or some other help close to your area. Online shopping. It permits you to shop online. For example, you can buy garments, shoes, book film tickets, rail line tickets, flight tickets, and the sky is the limit from there. Pay bills. You can take care of your bills on the web, for example, power charges, gas charges, school expenses, and so on. Online banking. It permits you to utilize web banking in which you can really look at your equilibrium, get or move cash, get an assertion, demand checkbook, and so on. Online selling. You can sell your items or administrations on the web. It assists you while arriving at the clients and this way builds your deals with benefit. Work from home. In the event that you need to telecommute, you can do it utilizing a framework with web access. Today, many organizations permit their representatives to telecommute. Entertainment. You can pay attention to web music, watch recordings or motion pictures, play web-based games. Cloud processing. It empowers you to interface your PCs and web-empowered gadgets to cloud administrations, for example, distributed storage, distributed computing, and so on. Career building. You can look for occupations online on various occupation entryways and send your CV or curriculum vitae through email whenever required. And with this, we come to the end of this chapter. Thank you.